Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment, here yet again for the 2020 Sports Fan Entertainment NFL Team Profiles. And today we are talking about the New York Jets. How will the New York Jets do in 2020? We're going to discuss that today. But first, let's look back at 2019 just a little bit and look how the last season went for those New York Jets. So last season was certainly a mixed bag. It started out horrible. It was 0-4 for the New York Jets to start the season, but things started to go a little better as the season went along, and they finished 7-9, and they were 7-6 with that quarterback right there, Sam Darnold. You look at their 2019 statistics, Sam Darnold, who you see pictured right there, 62% completion percentage, 3,024 yards, 19 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, and 84.3 passer rating in 13 games in which he played, missing 3 games due to mono. Okay, so whoever he had his lips on last season, hopefully he will avoid them this upcoming season. Hopefully. Running back Le'Veon Bell, disappointing. I mean, in the run game, so disappointing. Only 245 carries, 789 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, really abysmal. I mean, only 3.2 yards a carry, only 3 rushing touchdowns, bad. But if you look at the tape, that was mostly due to the O-line, mostly, although you definitely saw a little bit less burst and a little bit, less in terms of decisiveness from Le'Veon Bell as a runner, but he was still pretty impressive in the receiving game, so he definitely did still provide a lot of value for the Jets. And then Jamison Crowder actually led the pack in terms of receiving yards with 78 catches, 833 yards, and 6 touchdowns. I was disappointed in Crowder a little bit. He was all right, but I was way more disappointed with him with the Redskins the previous year. So, I guess you'll take this slight improvement. But right now, Crowder is only giving you so much. And when I look at the tape, this is an offense that just so severely needs to move the football down the field. And that's something that Jamison Crowder just really doesn't provide you. He'll move the sticks, but he's not going to move the football down the field, get you the big chunks that I think this offense severely needs right now. So that's something to think about moving forward. We move on to the next category, and that is the arrivals and the departures. Let's start with the departures. How about wide receiver Robbie Anderson? Now, this is going to be a huge loss because I just discussed the Jets have a problem moving the ball down the field. Okay, if you look at the tape, if you look at their offense, if you look at this Darrell Watkins and Adam Gase offense with the Jets last season, they severely struggle with moving the ball down the field. You see Sam Darnold checking down, looking short to medium and intermediate. And look, you can definitely score points like that in this league, but you're going to have those heavy hitters to keep the defenses honest. Sam Darnold struggles with the deep ball right now. I do not see his touch when it comes to the deep ball. He has plenty of arm strength, but his deep ball does lack a little bit. Now, he was able to find Robbie Anderson for a number of plays last year, including a 92-yard touchdown against the Dallas Cowboys. So losing Robbie Anderson stinks. Now, there's someone coming in who I think is going to help alleviate that loss. We're going to discuss him in a moment. But losing him does stink. Now, they also lost some guys that I don't really care about. Okay, Kelvin Beachum, now, he's been all right, but he's getting up there in age at this point. And I think they have a decent replacement in-house when it comes to his replacement, so I'm not really worried about Kelvin Beachum. Ryan Khalil, no. Brandon Copeland, no. Ty Montgomery, hell no. Look at the arrivals. Now, George Fant, I think they got him because they thought they weren't going to draft a tackle, which doesn't make any sense to me because there are so many tackles that you could get in this upcoming draft. It was pretty obvious that the Jets were going to be able to get a tackle, that they were going to draft a tackle, and then they ultimately did draft a tackle. So why they gave George Fant the 3-year, $30 million contract they did, I don't know. And I think he's going to end up starting at right tackle, maybe left tackle. Then Mickey Becton, who we're going to discuss in a second, is going to switch over later on in the season or next season. I don't know what the plan is, but George Fant isn't very good. Anyway, it didn't make much sense to me other than signing somebody just to sign somebody. Outside of him, Patrick Owasso, the former linebacker for the Baltimore Ravens. Look, this guy's good when it comes to rushing the passer, not great in coverage, decent against the run. Brashad Perriman. Now, some people are expecting things from Brashad Perriman. I'm not. Okay, he did well with Jameis Winston's crazy, high volume passing. And look, Sam Darnold compares a lot to Jameis Winston. I'll give you that. But that Bucs offense, I just don't trust. I know Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and the numbers that they produce I buy into, but just because Jameis Winston was throwing for 5,000 yards, I just don't trust that what Brashad Perriman did for the Bucs is going to translate to you guys. So I don't really care about Brashad Perriman. But look at the rookies. This is where I want to focus. Because you didn't get Joe Flacco and Frank Gore, but those are only going to be backups at this point. But I like this rookie class. I'm very much into this rookie class. And let's start with Mickey Becton. So this is the tackle that you guys picked with your first round pick. And this guy, we're going to have to see how he transitions to the league because all these tackles do struggle early. Especially, now there's no training camp, or at least no elongated training camp and rookie mini camp. That may prove to be an issue. But I think this guy's going to be a solid force in this league. But Denzel Mims, now I think Denzel Mims is going to be a steal for the New York Jets. Getting him in the second round, one of the most athletic wide receivers this year, if not the most athletic, coming out of the draft. A 4.3, 840, posting in the upper 5 percentile, 95th percentile when it comes to 40-yard dash, speed score, burst score, catch radius. I mean, this is the prototypical guy. Now, has the occasional drop on film, and I'm always cautious when it comes to Baylor wide receivers, thanks to Kendall Wright and Corey Coleman. But he looks a lot more sound than Corey Coleman because he has more than just the athleticism that Corey Coleman had, and he has way more athleticism than Kendall Wright had. So I think he's going to be the one Baylor wide receiver recently, and I think Josh Gordon went to Baylor too. I think he's going to be more like Josh Gordon, where he will actually find success in this league. I'm very much looking forward to Denzel Mims, and I think he will give you similar, if not better, production than Robbie Anderson gave. So this is the one I'm looking most forward to. Also drafted safety Ashton Davis and the defensive end Jabari Zuniga in the third round. All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next category today. And what is the next category? I already forgot. Oh, of course, it is the overall team analysis. So strength to this team, I think there's only one. I think there's only one real straight that can pinpoint to and say, I like that compared to the rest of the league, and that is your safeties. And Marcus May and Jamal Adams, what a safety duo. Now, unfortunately, this may not be a strength anymore as Jamal Adams wants out. And this is your best player by far. I think everyone can agree on this. It's unfortunate he hasn't found a home in New York. I think Adam Gase has a lot to do with this. I think the team not being a success has a lot to do with it as well. Can that change this season? It could. Are they going to trade him? No. I don't think they're going to trade him at least into the season. Now, maybe by the trade deadline, but I think he's going to be playing for the Jets this season. And then I think after this season, I think he will be traded. I think things will just come to, push will come to shove, and he will be on his way out. But right now, the safeties is absolute strength to me. The weaknesses, tight ends. Look, Chris Herndon, he got suspended for the first 4 games last year, then got injured, didn't play. Ryan Griffin, look, he's a nice backup tight end. You give him a little pass, a little, let him block for a little bit, let him leak out, give him a little, pass in the flat. It'll get you a nice 15, 20-yard gain occasionally. May catch the occasional crossing route for a touchdown. He's able to extend plays. He's a backup tight end, number 2 tight end. So I don't think Chris Herndon, Chris Herndon is not proven in this league as number 1 tight end, and Ryan Griffin is a number 2. So your tight ends are a weakness. Your offensive line, not your offensive line, your outside linebacker is also a weakness to me. Now, Terrell Basham graded out well last year, barely played, and 2.5 sacks. Jordan Jenkins had 8 sacks, didn't grade out very well, and wasn't that impressive on tape, and you guys got him back for a 1-year, $5 million deal. That means he doesn't think he's worth very much, and you don't think he's worth very much. We'll see what Jabari Zuniga can do coming in as a 3rd-round pick, and that's about it. There's not much when it comes to the outside linebackers right now. Now, the beautiful thing, you're getting pass rush from Jamal Adams. Patrick Owasso is going to add to your pass rush, even rushing inside as an inside linebacker. But don't like the outside linebackers right now. And I could have easily said wide receiver because, again, I don't have faith in Brashad Perriman, and Jamison Crowder is only going to give you so much. But I love Denzel Mims. I'm going to give you that because I love Denzel Mims. I'm putting a lot of faith in him. I think he may end up being the best rookie wide receiver this year, if not just having a very similar year to Deebo Samuel last year. I'm looking very much forward to Denzel Mims. I think he and Sammy Darnold is going to be a damn good match, and I'm looking forward to it. So, With that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next we also have our X factors here. Obviously, quarterback Sam Darnold. What's he gonna do? How's he gonna improve? And when I get to my evaluation of him in a second, offensive line. Now there's new parts. There's George Fant. There's Mekhi Becton, Alex Lewis. You guys also signed. How are these new pieces gonna look? It's definitely an improvement, but will it be enough of an improvement? And running back, can Le'Veon Bell return to giving us at least 4 yards of carry? Hell, at least 3.5 because he was giving us 3.2 last season. All right, so next category, let's look at my statistical projections for the New York Jets, and some of these may surprise you. So let's start with Sam Darnold. Okay, so Sam Darnold, look, I have him for 64% completion percentage, 3,900 passing yards, 27 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, and an 89.0 passer rating. I loved Jameis Winston coming out of college. I loved Sam Darnold coming out of college. They look too similar to me right now. There's going to be good stuff associated with that and bad stuff associated with that. You're going to see a lot more passing yards from Darnold. I wanted to give him more than 4,000 this year, to be quite honest with you, but I think they're going to run the ball a little bit more. And you're going to see interceptions still from Sam Darnold. Now, really, he had like one really bad interception game this year. That was against the Patriots. It was Monday Night Football. I want to say it was his second game back. It was an absolute disaster. He had actually 5 turnovers that game as he fumbled the ball as well. But this guy, God, I don't know why, he loves throwing fat-footed over the middle when the play is over. He needs to learn to just take what he can get, and he's not going to learn it. Because I just see it so many we have this same conversation. We had it with Jameis Winston. We had it with Sam Bradford a little bit. We have it even still with Matthew Stafford. But Stafford is obviously so good when it comes to the other stuff that doesn't matter. But these quarterbacks that just don't learn their lesson when it comes to going back over the middle with bad mechanics, they just don't learn. Mahomes gets away with it because his arm is just incredible. It's the best arm talent you may have ever seen ever in the NFL. Darnold can't get away with it. He floats so many balls over the middle. But when he's in rhythm, when he's in stride, boy, he can hit some wide receivers. He can move the football and move it well. He has a place in this league as a starter. But I am on the edge when it comes to Darnold if whether or not he's even going to be starting after his rookie year, maybe a year or two more than that, if he can't keep these interceptions down. Because again, that's why Jameis Winston is a backup now despite being talented. Mariota was good for a couple years, and then he is not starting anymore. That's not saying that you're bad. I just don't know if he's above that line. He's right on that where he's better than Joe Flacco is, trust me, but he's right on that Joe Flacco-ish line, and the quarterbacks and the quarterback playing production this season is getting better and better and better. Can he stop these tendencies? I don't see it right now, and not with these weapons, because none of these weapons are going to bail him out. Although I like Denzel Mims, he's not going to bail you out. He'll make a play if you get him the ball in his hands, but you got to get the ball in his hands consistently. If Sam Darnold had a Mike Evans or someone to bail him out, Odell Beckham and DeAndre Hopkins, he looks so much better. He doesn't have that right now. There's no tight end on this roster that's going to provide that, and I think Denzel Mims is the only wide receiver. So if they can get him a weapon like that, I feel more better. But I think just right now, man, he's going to continue to make those mistakes that just say, I don't know. And you can't go all in saying he's a franchise quarterback. But this will be a good season for him. It'll still be a season in the right direction. But just in terms of long term, that's my issue with him. Le'Veon Bell, I think he's going to return to being a pretty good running back in this league. Maybe even very good, you can argue, with the rushing stats I have him for, plus the receiving stats he'll get. 275 carries, 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. Denzel Mims, look, I got him down for 900 yards. And that might be a lot to you, but I think Rashad Perriman's going to end up disappointing. I think Crowder's going to give you the same. I think Denzel Mims is going to pick up the production and get 900 yards. I could be wrong on this. Rookie wide receivers you can't trust, but this is what I got for Denzel Mims. So let's go ahead and look at the schedule for the New York Jets. And here's the problem with the New York Jets, okay? And this is where people need to understand about this New York Jets team. Last year was a fluke. You guys went 7-9, and it was a fluke, okay? It was actually a higher record than you should have had. Because last year, this is who the New York Jets beat in the 2019 season, okay? So they beat the Buffalo Bills week 1, which are actually not week 1, week 17, which actually was a decent win. It was 13-6, but it was decent. The Steelers without Ben Roethlisberger, the Miami Dolphins, they also lost to the Dolphins, which is ridiculous. They beat the New York Giants, the Washington Redskins, now I call them the Washington No-Names, the Oakland Raiders. That's it. Okay, they lost to the Cleveland Browns, they lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars, they lost to the Dolphins, as I mentioned earlier, they lost to the Bengals. This schedule was weak last season, and despite how weak it was, despite facing the AFC East and the NFC East, and facing the Cleveland Browns, and facing the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Steelers without Ben Roethlisberger, they still only went 7-9. That was last season. Now, they've improved in terms of their personnel. I agree. But the schedule has gotten more difficult. So when people talk about the Jets being a playoff team, I say, hold on. Especially now that, hey, Cam Newton is back is now in your division. The Patriots are back to being playoff contenders. That also hurts you. So just look at the schedule. Look, again, you're in the AFC East. And I don't think now you'll get swept by the Patriots. I think you should split with the Patriots. You should. But that is a very strong should there, because I'm not putting my money on that. I'll put my money on you guys to win in New York, but I'm not betting on that in New England. But, even, again, they can beat you guys in New York. And then the Bills and the Dolphins, you guys should also split with them. The Dolphins are going to be better. So I feel good with 3-3 in the AFC East, but it's way more likely to be 2-4 than 4-2 in the AFC East. Okay, so you look at the NFC West. What's going on when it comes to the NFC West? So you host the 49ers. They're better than you, and they're traveling to you, and I think they could easily beat you in your stadium. You host the Cardinals. The Cardinals are improved, but I think you guys could beat the Cardinals in New York. You guys travel to LA to face the LA Rams. You travel to Seattle, and I say forget about them. The Rams aren't going to be very good to me this season. I mean, maybe you guys to sneak up on them. Seattle, no. I know they haven't been as good in Seattle recently, but that's just a no for me. So it feels 1-3, 2-2-ish. Okay, we're not going to go game by game, say win-loss, but we just like to go by feel here. And then guys also travel to Indianapolis to face the Colts. Don't like it. I think they're going to be pretty good with Phillip Rivers this year. And you guys host the improved Browns. Okay, these are the improved Browns who you lost to last year, 23-3. Now, this was with Luke Falk. It was not with Sam Darnold, but you lost to them 23-3. So, look, I know there's a lot of optimism when it comes to the Jets this season. I know there's all this optimism. We've improved our offensive line. All we needed was to give Sam Darnold more time. But if you look at the Sam Darnold plays, look, ultimately, you're going to face pressure in this league. You can't expect to go the whole game without facing pressure. And Sam Darnold, this guy just turns the ball way too often when he's not even pressured. When he's pressured just a little bit, right? Just a little bit of pressure, just throwing the ball over the middle. And I just don't see enough quarterbacks just get rid of that tendency, for it to just go away, for them to just automatically, all of a sudden, the light clicks and they're like, wait a minute, I shouldn't do that. Maybe they'll do it less often, but they're always going to resort to those tendencies and tactics too often. That's what I see from Darnold. I'm going to see more production when it comes to him, when it comes to passing touchdowns and passing yards, but those interceptions are still going to creep up. And against this better schedule, I just don't see it. Now, best case scenario, this defense is better than what I think it's going to be, and it's really able to be a main force for this team. Jamal Adams is able to be a strong leader for this defense, and again, I really don't see any of that happening. And I'll say 10-6. Worst case scenario, I think it's 6-10. I think it's on the table, because again, I think the schedule was so weak last year. You guys was 7-9. Now, my prediction, Jets fans aren't going to love this. It's kind of 7-9. Am I going to go 8-8? I might go 8-8 right now. I really want to go 8-8 just to be safe, just to be safe. But I'm going 7-9. I don't see it. Unless if Sam Darnold makes a bigger step than what I'm seeing, I just don't see it. And ultimately, again, your offensive coordinator is Dal Loggins. He's never had one good offense in this league. You can never look at Dal Loggins and say that's one good offense. Adam Gase has had like one or two. Even those one or two haven't been very impressive. I just don't like the offensive staff in New York. With Jamal Adams, your best offensive player, on the way out, you guys traded Leonard Williams. It's just not time yet for the Jets. I'm just not buying into it. So there you go. That is my season preview for the New York Jets. What is your preview? What are your predictions? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.